Okay, okay, so we're doing this by hand, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm just gonna take this cap off of the vortex because the Zeiss has an exposed turret. So here's an exposed turret. Here's your turret itself uncapped. The clicks on this are extremely stiff. I'm not gonna click this. It's super stiff. This is a non-locking, and it doesn't need to be. Trust me, you could run this with. You could run this exposed. These are so stiff. But on the Zeiss, you pull up. If I can, there you go. You pull up. And by the way, guys, I do want to bring something to your attention. If you watch my unboxing video, my first impressions of this was that it was plastic. It was a plastic turret. It's not plastic. It just, the finish on this feels different than the finish on the rest of the scope, and it sort of gave that appearance that it was plastic. But anyway, you lift up, you dial, you lock. It's got a 0 stop. If you need more elevation, you've got to take the cap up, take the pin on the cap and the pin on the scope itself, step them across each other, put this down, put the screw in it. But the clicks on this are nice, audible. You can hear them. It's pretty nice. Let's talk about something else. If I can sort of get both of these in the frame. The vortex is a 1:6. It's a little bit longer than the Zeiss. So if length is your big concern, the Zeiss wins. It's just a shad shorter. I want to say maybe like a half inch. Both of them are 30 millimeter. The layout on both of them, you know, is pretty. They both have illumination. They both have illumination on, then in the middle off, then the next on, off, so forth, so forth. It's like that on both. I'm not sure what the weight is on either of these, but I'm going to probably say the vortex is heavier since it's a bit longer. That would just be my guess. Let's get down behind them. Now, I did this the day I got them, but let's see, I got to flip it this way. Let's have a look through. Whoops. There, as long as I can hold that steady. Now remember, you're looking through glass. There's the crosshair on the vortex. And here's the through the Zeiss. Now, to my eye, and I'll do this one more time, Zeiss, vortex. Okay, so to my eye, the glass on them, and I've got them side by side, the glass on both of them it's pretty much exactly the same. But I just feel with my eye that the Zeiss has just like a bigger eye box, if that makes sense. Field of view, that's actually the word I wanna look for, not eye box. It seems like the Zeiss has a bigger field of view to my eye, sort of like people talk about on the Vortex Razor HD. You've got this huge field of view, and I feel that way about the Zeiss. I think my final impressions here. Now, I haven't shot the Zeiss. It's not sighted in. These are just my impressions so far. I've had the Zeiss, like, I got it Tuesday. Today's Thursday, so I've had it, what, like, if you want to say 3 days. I'll sight it in this weekend. But to me, right now, this is the feeling I get. I think if you are, and I've got the Vortex on a 12.5-inch AR-10 308. The Zeiss is on a 5.56, 11.5-inch 5.56. And this is my opinion so far. That the 12.5-inch 308, it's got to go to 500 yards, okay? While it's not a DMR, I still want to use that 308 capability to go out there, to reach out. I decided on a 1-4 because I had a primary arms 1-6, an 11.5-inch 308. The farthest that I could really reach with the gun, and the ballistic app Sterilec Pro, the farthest I got, and I didn't do a whole lot of testing, but the farthest I could reach out was 300 yards. And I said to myself, I said, you know what, I'll get a 1-4. This gun's more tailored to maybe CQB. I'm not going to try to, really step out there. I think I might have went 400 yards, but I'm not. Either way, I said, for 11.5-inch gun, I'm not going to try to really step it out there with that gun. Just, a 1-4 is going to be fine. The what is that? What reticle? ZQAR. The ZQAR is such a fast reticle. I seen a reticle similar to it in a man, what was that scope? Kales or however you want to pronounce that. They had a super cool reticle where it was really fat on the sides and it got super thin. It tapered in like a needle, and then it had, some sort of whatever in the center. And when I tried that reticle out in the store, when I held that scope, I thought, wow, this is fucking cool. Well, that's what this Zeiss reticle reminds me of. And so basically, I mean, that reticle, I think, is really set up for a CQB 300 and in. I really think that scope is great. And if you could pick it up for the 410 with the to me, perceivable better field of view, I would say if CQB is the name of your game, the Zeiss is your scope with that reticle. Now, let's talk about the Vortex briefly. The Vortex, if you've seen, it had a bunch of hashes on the reticle. With this being a 308 and I want to step out to 5, I think, this is the better. This scope to me is geared better for that. When you turn on the illumination, you just get a red dot, like an aim point with the Vortex. And when you turn the illumination on with the Zeiss, the whole horseshoe, the dot, and the hashes light up. And again, I think, with that horseshoe, with that EOTech type horseshoe, you're better off with the Zeiss for CQB. But if you're running like a 16-inch gun, a 14-inch gun, you want to sort of have that mid-range weapon that it can do CQB, it can reach out there a little bit better. I think the Vortex 1 to 6 is I think that's your optic. If you want an optic sub $600, the Vortex is for you. If you're going sub 600 and CQB, SBR, that's your weapon. Your weapon, your gear is tailored towards that. The Zeiss is for you. Now, those are all my opinions, and my opinions might change this weekend when I sight this thing in. I'm going to sight it in. I'm going to set up 4 or 5 targets out there. I'm going to try to run this gun, quick. I'm going to snap target to target. I'm just going to get a feel for it. Everything might change. I might make a new video this weekend and say, hey, and same with the Vortex. I've only used the Vortex just to dial a load in for this gun. I've not really shot this thing all summer. And same with the Zeiss. I might get this, if they get this corn chopped down in the field, I might get this Zeiss out there with Sterilec, and man, I could be hitting them. I could be really taking it out. I might change my mind on that too. But for now, this is the feelings I'm getting. These are the opinions I have just having these scopes side by side. And just stay tuned, because when I get to shooting these in the next couple of days over the weekend, I'll be definitely bringing some more opinions on these optics. So until then, I'll catch you later. Until then.